أما بعد فقال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه الكريم وهو الذي جعل لكم النجوم لتهتدوا بها في ظلمات البر والبحر قد فصلنا الآيات لقوم يعلمون. صلوات عليك. We've gathered to commemorate the Shahadat of Hazrat Muslim bin Aqeel alayhi salatu wassalam. Muslim bin Aqeel is not only the cousin of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, he is also the ambassador of the Imam sent to Kufa. And this itself, reflects his great status that Imam trusted him and chose him as an ambassador to go to Kufa. He is one of the shining stars among the Shuhada of Karbala. All of them are stars, but they are different ranks. And among those who are most shining, at the top, one of them is Muslim bin Aqeel. Last night I talked about the issue of stars and astronomy. We also touched on the issue of astrology and the prohibition about following astrology. Some questions came up after the majlis. One of them I responded briefly between the Maghrib and Isha prayers, but I'm told the ladies were not listening at that time, or my voice was not loud enough. But there are many other issues connected to this theme which were left out, and so I decided to continue that theme, not more about astronomy, but about the byproduct which is known as astrology. Just to summarize my discussion last night, the issue was about the importance of astronomy in Islam. Astronomy basically is a science which for us, it opens a window into the signs of Allah's power and glory. When you study the earth, the moon, the sun, the stars, and how the universe works, this is where you come to realize that this is a system that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created. He is the one who manages it, and there is absolutely no flaw in that system, especially the ayat from Surah Yasin, that you will never see these. The movement is such that the moon will not overtake the sun, neither the day or the night will overtake one another. Everything is so precise that we can actually know the time of the birth of the new moon. It's different from the issue of Eid. That's not the birth of the new moon, that's a crescent. There is a difference between crescent and new moon. We can have a calendar of 1 century in advance about when the birth of the new moon would be. We can have a calendar of 1 century in advance about the eclipse of the solar and the lunar, because the system is so precise and accurate that there will be no flaw in it. And so when we talk about astronomy, this is not only okay from our point of view, as I said last night, to some extent it is necessary. Even ulama, in the past used to study this as part of their curriculum. Till the days of my grandfather, I see in his biography, because you have to know the time of Fajr, the time of sunrise, the sunset, the issue of the beginning of Shawwal and Ramadan and the season of Hajj. These days it is not, unfortunately, part of the curriculum. But I would still urge, those who are interested in this, I would say if I had a control on the system in the Hawza, I would make it mandatory for every talib ilm of religion to at least go and read the book Astronomy Made Easy. There are many books of these different subjects. There is one which is very simple. At least you should know the basics when we talk about Fajr timing. There is a twilight, the light which comes before the sunrise. Then it is known as astronomical twilight. This is when the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon. Then there is something known as nautical twilight, when the sun basically is now coming up to 16 degrees below the horizon. And then there is something known as the civic twilight, when the sun is at 12 degrees below the horizon. That's when the street lamps go off. That's why it's called civic twilight. You have to study that to realize, and then look at the ahadith of the Imams about how they define Fajr Sadiq and what is Fajr Kazib, false dawn and true dawn. You have to then look at this twilights and see whether you can match one with the other or not. And so when we talk about astronomy, it is important to study even for our religious issues. However, astrology is something else. Astrology is when people study mostly the positions or the stars and the constellations where they are, and then they deduce certain conclusions from it, that there will be an impact on your life, positively or negatively, about your life, about your death, about your health, about your sickness, about your wealth and prosperity. Sometimes in the Hindu tradition, they even look at the birth time of the persons before they see whether they are good match for one another for marriage or not. Because that's how they look at the personality of the individuals and that. But from the Islamic point of view, to say that the star or the moon or this whole issue of the movement of the stars have an impact negatively or positively on us, this is not something which we are not allowed at all to believe in it. To some extent it's not only haram, in some cases it becomes even kufr. And we talked about it last night. Sometimes these events in the nature are used by the politicians, especially the worldly leaders, to impress the ignorant masses that they have under their control. Unlike the great leader like Rasulullah, I talked about the example when his son Ibrahim died. On the same day there was solar eclipse, and the Muslims in Medina said this happened because of the Prophet's son. He has died today. And Rasulullah made it very clear. It has nothing to do with the death or birth of anyone. These are natural phenomena. Go and do namaz, namaz-e-ayat. Namaz-e-ayat itself is an indication that do not be overwhelmed by what you see happening around you in this space. Remember, they don't control you. They are controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And therefore, when you feel overwhelmed, you sit down, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and recognize His greatness. Salawat. But there are others who use this for their own advantage. Columbus, when he discovered the New World, initially the natives refused to give him supplies for his ship. But by his own calculation of the astronomy, he knew that, there's going to be a lunar eclipse tonight. And he said, if you don't give it to me, if you don't, give me the supplies that I want, you will see your God will be angry with you. They didn't know what was going to happen. But he knew by his calculations and by his knowledge about astronomy that, tonight is the lunar eclipse. And this is where they just submitted to him. And so you see a great leader like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam who takes us to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whereas people like Columbus will use such events, just to impress the ignorant ones who don't know anything about it. Now, one of the follow-up questions, which I briefly answered between Maghrib and Isha, was about this issue of Qamar dar Aqrab. Qamar is moon. This is a Farsi Urdu term. In Arabic, we will say Al-Qamar fi Burj al-Aqrab. Means where the moon is in this constellation of the Scorpio. the stars of which are there in that format. Now, the question was about Qamar Dar Aqrab, even the calendar that we have been publishing on behalf of the Jamaat for the last few years. We have been highlighting the days when it is Qamar Dar Aqrab, and there is a note at the end of every month there which says that the ahadith were to have wedding during the time of Qamar Dar Aqrab is makruh. Now, sometimes people relate this issue to say, oh, it means if the moon is in the constellation of the stars in the constellation of Scorpio, it means there will be a negative impact on the marriage or the wedding. This is where we have to realize that when we say something is makruh, it doesn't mean that there is going to be an impact from the space on this issue. Marriage is a good thing. Not only it is a good thing, it is highly recommended in Islam. So it has ajr and sawab. However, there are ahadith which say that when you want to do something which is highly recommended in Islam, known as marriage, then do not do it at a time when the moon is in the constellation of the Scorpio, which is about 2 or 3 days in the lunar calendar, because it is makruh. Now remember that when something is makruh, it does not necessarily mean that when the moon is in that constellation, it will have a negative impact on the marriage. It will not last and it end up in problems or divorce. No. It's simply saying that it is makruh. And when you hear about a good thing and you're told, don't do this at this time, it is makruh. What it means is that the ajr and sawab and the reward that you will get for doing that thing, if you do it at that time when the hadith say don't do it, it is makruh, the ajr and sawab will go down. You will still get sawab, but you will get less. If you do it out of that time frame, then you get the maximum sawab which is there for marriage as a good deed. We have many other examples. For example, traveling in the month of Ramadan. Is it jaiz or not? It is jaiz. But it is makruh. It is makruh to travel in the month of Ramadan. Why? Is something going to happen to me? No. It just means that if you don't stay home, you are going to miss out fasting. There is no kafara for it because you are musafir, traveling. You have to make it up later on. But when you make the qaza, missed out fasting of the month of Ramadan in Shawwal or other months, it will be accepted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you lose out in the blessing of the month of Ramadan. That is what it means when it says that in the month of Ramadan, traveling is permissible, but it is makruh. Makruh means you lose out in the extra sawab which comes with fasting in the month of Ramadan itself. Salawat padne paro. Similarly, on Friday, traveling in the Friday morning. Do you know it's makruh? Why? Something is going to happen? You'll miss your flight. My flight got cancelled, but it was a Monday evening or Monday morning, but it's nothing to do with the issue that something will happen. It's actually emphasizing the point. Now that your Friday has already come upon you, there is the Friday prayers. It is greatly emphasized. Do the Friday prayers and then go for your traveling. Of course, if you're going to travel in such a way that wherever you reach, you'll be able to do the Friday prayers, that's fine. But the karahat, when it says there is makruh to travel in the morning of Friday, is because of the extra, sawab of doing Friday prayers. If we lived at a time when the Imam was accessible to us and present, and the Imam Jummah would be appointed by him, then Jummah becomes wajib aini. It is absolutely wajib for us to attend and do the namaz. And during that time, between the zawal and namaz Jummah, doing business is not allowed. When the time of zawal happens on Jummah till the Jummah time, business would not be allowed when namaz Jummah becomes wajib aini. So there are certain rules and regulations where the karahat comes in, but it doesn't mean that something bad will happen. And so when you avoid doing the wedding during Qamar Dar Aqrab, then you get more sawab. It has nothing to do with the stars in the constellation of Scorpio that they are going to poison your marital relationship. No, not at all. What can poison your relationship is the sting of the tongue and not the stars in the tail of the Scorpio. They are not going to do anything. It's just a name there because of the shape that they have. That's all. And this is where we have to realize that, when we talk about Qamar Dar Aqrab, one more point I would like to, don't want to go into technical, aspect of it. But the ahadith that we have about Qamar Dar Aqrab, that is makruh to do weddings at that time, the ahadith overall are not that strong, sanad-wise. However, because this is not halal, this is not haram and wajib issue, there is a principle in ijtihad which is known as at-tasamu fi adillatu sunan, which means that, when it comes to the proof for sunnat activities, not wajib or haram, then the standard of verification of the sources goes down. The bar goes down. We become more lenient in dealing with those hadiths. Although they might not be that strong, we still accept it that, this is something makruh or mustahab. And because marriage, inshallah, for majority of the people will only be once in a lifetime event, we decided to put that in the calendar. So, you take all the precautions to make sure things are done in the right way. And final point on this issue, if you get stuck, there is no hall, available. Holidays are not available for you except on that time when it is Qamar Dar Aqrab. It is not haram. It is makruh. And you can still go with your marriage. There is no issue with that wedding, However, at that situation, looking at the ahadith of the A'immah, give sadaqah and then go ahead with what you want to do. Salawat. The last point here, especially for the ladies, Qamar Dar Aqrab issue is only for the wedding, not for the Shuruwat Shadi Majlis, which is a new invention that we have. I'm not saying don't do it. Not for the Mehndi party, not for many, many other events. Sometimes other is a good day. Can you look? I said, come on, is it just Mehndi party? Just go and do it any day you want. This issue of Qamar Dar Aqrab is only for the actual wedding, nothing else. None of these other things have any recognition in Islam or the Sharia. You want to do it, just do it. Nothing to do with Qamar Dar Aqrab or non-Qamar Dar Aqrab. Salawat. Another very interesting superstition, I would say, which I hear about sometimes. But I thought since I'm talking about these issues, let me just bring all the examples here. Is it okay to do a wedding on Saturdays? Our calendar is full actually. But there are some ladies who have a problem with that. They actually must have heard that there are some narrations from our Imams where they talk about the better times and days for traveling. Which are the good days to travel and which are not good days for traveling. And one of them, for example, is this hadith of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu was-salam, where he says, "Man arada safaran falyusafir yawm as-sabt." When somebody wants to do a traveling, then he should choose Saturday as a good day for traveling. Why? Because on Saturday, even if a stone moves away from its location, Allah will bring it back to that location. So the idea is when you're going to a journey, if you do it on Saturday, inshallah, you will come back. That is the safety of safar. Now, mashallah, some ladies, when they heard this riwayat, which is about safar, they say, no, we will not do the rukhsati of our daughters on Saturdays. Because the hadith says, even if a stone moves from that place, it will come back. You know, if we send her to her in-laws' house, she will come back. Well, that has to do with traveling. It has nothing to do with the wedding. And the point is what? When you do the rukhsati, you don't want your daughter to come back home and visit you? You know, so don't take one thing which is about safar and then take that and you do your own ijtihad and say this also applies for rukhsati, and so we will not do rukhsati until the Maghrib or Saturday has passed away. I have seen those situations. वजह से मौलाना wait करें, Maghrib हो जाएगी उसके बाद ही निकाह पढ़ेंगे. You know, so we have to wait for that time until the Maghrib's impact of coming back is over, then we do that. But this is not in the Sharia. This is wrong understanding of the ahadith which have come about the better times and days for traveling. Salawat padhne ek baar aur. And so the stars and things like that don't really have an impact. They do not, control or change our destiny. I mentioned the name of Amir al-Mu'mineen and his journey to Nahrawan, where an astrologer stopped him. And I thought maybe it will be good to narrate not the entire conversation, but important parts of it for us to understand, this issue of astrology, that we are not allowed to follow that. And this is a narration where Amir al-Mu'mineen was, already on his horse, ready to go to Nahrawan. Nahrawan is the third battle after Jamal and Siffin. This is where he was going to face the Khawarij. And so when he got on the horse, very soon, he was going to depart. Atahu munajjim. Munajjim means the astrologer came to him. And he said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, la tasir fi hadhihi as-sa'a. Don't travel at this hour. وَالسِّرْ فِي ثَلَاثَ سَاعَاتٍ يَمْزِينَ مِنَ النَّهَارِ. It is better for you to travel 3 hours before the day comes to the end, so towards the late afternoon. And Imam asked him, وَلِمَا ذَلِكَ? Why? Why are you telling me not to travel now and later on in the day? He says, لَإِنَّكَ إِن سِرْتَ فِي هَذِهِ السَّاعَةِ أَصَابَكَ وَأَصَابَ أَصْحَابُكَ أَذًى وَضُرًّا شَدِيدٌ. If you travel now in this hour, you and your companions will be afflicted with harm and serious, loss. وَإِن سِرْتَ فِي السَّاعَةِ الَّتِي أَمَرْتُكَ. And if you travel in the hour that I advise you, ظَفِرْتَ. You will succeed in your battle. وَزَحَرْتَ. You will overcome them. وَعَصَبْتَ كُلَّ مَا طَلَبْتَ. And you will achieve whatever you wanted to achieve in that journey. Amir al-Mu'mineen looked at him. He was already sitting on the horse. And he says, and this was a she-horse. So Ali says, تدري ما في بطن هذه الدابة أم ذكر أو أنثى? Do you know what is in the belly of this horse? Is it a male or a female? The horse was apparently pregnant. This fellow, astrologer, he says, إن حسبت علمت. If I do my calculations of the star and the moon and this and that and the timing, I will be able to know. And this is what Amir al-Mu'mineen says to him, من صدقك على هذا القول كذب بالقرآن. Whoever accepts your words about this, he would have indeed rejected the Quran. And then later on he says, أتضعم أنت أنك تهدي إلى الساعة التي من سار فيها صرف عنه السوء والساعة التي من سار فيها حاق به الضر. You think that you know the hour in which if somebody, travels in it, he will be protected from evil. And and if he goes in an hour that he will be surrounded by difficulties. Then Imam says, من صدقك بهذا استغنى بقولك عن الاستعانة بالله عز وجل في ذلك الوجه. If somebody believes in your words and your predictions, then he doesn't need to ask the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وأحوج إلى الرغبة إليك في دفع المكروه عنه. And then he will be more inclined to you than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to avert the evil from himself. وينبغي له أن يوليك الحمد دون ربه. And then he needs to probably thank you, then thank his Lord. فمن آمن لك بهذا فقد اتخذك من دون الله ندا وضدا. And whoever believes in you would actually have taken you as a partner of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So strong words. And he ends by saying, بل نكذبك. I, reject your words. وَنُخَالِفُكَ. And I'll go against the advice you're given to me. وَنَسِيرُ فِي السَّاعَةِ الَّتِي نَحِيتَ عَنْهَا. And I will definitely travel in the same hour that you have prevented me from doing it. And what was the outcome? Amir al-Mu'mineen went there, and the results were better than Siffin and Jamal. Almost the entire army of Khawarij were wiped out. He came back, totally successful. This astrologer didn't know that this Ali is the Ali for whom even the sun was dragged back for a few moments. You don't have to look at the stars. You have to look at the nujum ahl al-ard. As the Prophet says, go to them. If you really are worried about something, they are the one, based on Allah and Rasul's knowledge given to them, they will guide you to the right path. Salawat pradhe ek baar. Of course, there is one more, perspective to this whole discussion. And that is about the days that we have in our calendar, which are associated to the Prophet and his family. Happy days, happy occasions, sad occasions. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, He has ordered us in the Quran. To the Prophet He says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. It is Allah's command to the Prophet, say to your people that I don't ask anything from you but to love my family. And so the wila and love of Ahlul Bayt is an essential part of Islam, whether you are a Wahhabi or a Shia on the other extreme. And all in between, everybody, at least verbally, they say, yes, we love Ahlul Bayt. Because they know this is part of the teachings of the Quran. And this is where we have this concept of tawalla and tabarra. To love the Ahlul Bayt and to love those who love the Ahlul Bayt. And tabarra means to disassociate from those who are enemies of Ahlul Bayt in any shape or form at all. And when you look at that, one way of expressing our love for the Ahlul Bayt is to do our happy events during the time of happy occasions of the Ahlul Bayt. And to avoid doing our happy events during the days which are said in the calendar of the Ahlul Bayt. And actually these are not our words here. Our Ma'sumin have said about it. And I'll just go to one hadith from Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. Where he says, Inna Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala ittala'a ala al-arz fakhtarana. You know, when he created the earth and the people, he looked at the earth and he selected us as his hujjat and representatives. وَاخْتَارَ لَنَا شِيعَةً يَنْصُرُونَنَا. And then Allah selected some people as our Shia, who will be our supporters. They are our Nasir. What is their characteristic? What is their quality? Imam says, يَفْرِحُونَ بِفَرْحِنَا وَيَحْذَنُونَ بِحُذْنِنَا. They are happy with our happiness and they are sad with our sadness. This is how Imam is explaining who is a Shia, those who are supporting us. يَبْذُلُونَ أَمْوَالُهُمْ وَأَنفُسَهُمْ فِينَا. You know, they actually sacrifice their wealth and their lives for our sake. أُولَٰئِكَ مِنَّا وَإِلَيْنَا. They are from us and they are coming towards us. Salawat pढ़ने एक बार. And so this relationship of love with the Ahlul Bayt, it demands certain, choices. Muharram Safar would be out of our calendar as far as happy occasions are concerned. Any day of wafat, like today for example, tomorrow, although the day after is Eid, but because it is wafat of not just a Ma'soom, yes, that is very important, but even when it comes to Muslim bin Aqeel, for example. And these are the days where a Shia cannot have his or her happy events on those days. And we have to keep this in mind, because that is the demand of that love and hope that we have for the Ahlul Bayt. Don't do your weddings, your birthdays, your anniversaries on days associated to the Ahlul Bayt when it comes to the sad days of Ahlul Bayt. If you have to do it, if your birth anniversary or wedding anniversary is coming at that time, do it ahead. There's no deadline there. Do it before or, delay it and do it later on. Especially teach your children from childhood. Problem is sometimes you say, we don't care about it, and then at the end, say it's a small, gathering, just a cake, a candle. But if you don't instill this idea from childhood, they will not get it when they grow up. This is where you end up with this, struggle of an example I mentioned many times, where the daughter says to the parents, your Ashura. When your child says to you, your Ashura, it means the generation gap has come in. The Ashura stayed with you, not with the next generation. And this is where we have to realize, we have to talk about this issue with our children when they grow up, so that when they reach to that age of adulthood, they know that this is something which is easy, and they will not really find it that difficult to go through those challenges in life. Salawat pढ़ने एक बार और. Muslim bin Aqeel is basically a prime example for us when it comes to the issue of sacrifice for the Ahlul Bayt. He was, of course, the first cousin of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. But if you look at the entire story of Karbala, Among the Shuhada of Karbala, there were two groups. One are known as, Shuhada of Banu Hashim, the family. And the other are known as the Ashab of Imam Hussein. And that itself shows that, as a family, extended family, Ahlul Bayt were all united in their mission. They were willing to sacrifice for one another. And among those who are known as Shuhada Banu Hashim, the number is about 18 or 20. Actually it goes to about 24. It's interesting that among them, among Banu Hashim Shuhada in Karbala, 10 of them were the sons and grandsons of Aqeel, the brother of Amir al-Mu'mineen. 10 of them were sons or grandsons of Ali himself. And 2 of them were grandsons of Ja'far. So he just 3 brothers, Ali, Aqeel and Ja'far. Ja'far had 2 representation there in form of his grandsons. Ali had 10 of them in sons and grandsons. And Aqeel also had 10 sons and grandsons there who became Shuhada. And among them, Muslim bin Aqeel is the first one. When Imam selected him, and even the letter that he wrote to the people of Kufa in response to their letters, the way he talks about him, that I have sent you Akhi wasiqati min ahli, my brother, somebody who is trustworthy in my eyes. And then he uses the term faqih. He is somebody who is learned in the matters of religion. And his task was basically to go and see whether these letters of the people of Kufa has any substance or not. Initially, when he reached there, about 12 to 18,000 people. The numbers are different in history. But the minimum is 12,000, the maximum is 18,000 people. They pledged allegiance to Imam Hussain alayhi salam on the hand of Muslim bin Aqeel as his representative. And this is the time when the governor of Yazid in Kufa was a weak person. When the reports reached to Sham, he basically sent ibne Ziyad to move from his station in Basra and to go to Kufa. Muslim bin Aqeel, looking at these numbers, 12 to 18,000 people doing bay'at, he wrote a letter to Imam and sent it with a messenger saying that these letters were asking you to come. They are willing to accept you as their leader. And it seems, this is the right, statement that they have. You come as quick as possible. In the meanwhile, when Ibn Ziyad comes in, he basically realized, he came in disguise. It covered his face. And with on his head, he had kind of a turban, black color. And people didn't know who is this. They thought this is Hussein who is coming now. So everyone was greeting with him, Assalamu alaikum, ibn Rasulillah. So right in the beginning, he realized that this city is almost gone out of our control. And he was a very, not only a shrewd, but a cruel politician. He used carrot and stick to pressurize the tribal leaders, gradually forcing them to abandon Muslim bin Aqeel. Ibn Ziyad even called Hani bin Urwa to the governor's house, interrogated him, assaulted him. And because Hani bin Urwa he didn't come back, Muslim bin Aqeel goes with 300 armed people to the governor's house to rescue Hani. But this is where one of the Darbari, Qazi and Alim came on the roof, and he said, I've seen Hani with my own eyes, he's okay. Nothing has happened to him, so go away. And this is where people started abandoning Muslim bin Aqeel. Some of the narrations actually said that the fear brought about by Ibn Ziyad in Kufa was to such an extent that the women were fearing for their men. They would go. The mothers will call their sons away. Wives will actually try to pull their husbands away from that group. from all sides. And this is where Muslim bin Aqeel, then it was Maghrib time, he goes to the masjid. There were 30 people there behind him. By the time he finished the namaz, you know, our ziyarat, when we recite, many times we address our eighth imam as Gharib al-Ghuraba. Gharib in Arabic means somebody who is a stranger, all alone, in a strange place. At that moment in history, no one was more Gharib al-Ghuraba than Muslim bin Aqeel. When he led the namaz of Maghrib, there were 30 people behind him. When he turned around, there was not a single soul there. All of them had betrayed him. Muslim bin Aqeel इसी हालत में मस्जिद से निकलते हैं. मुसाफिर है, जो शहर के रास्ते से भी इतना वाकिफ नहीं है. महल्ले किंदा की तरफ आगे बढ़ते हैं और एक घर के दरवाजे के पास जाके वहाँ दीवार के पास बैठ जाते हैं. Didn't know where to go. और उस हालत में बार बार देखते हैं कि दरवाजे पर जो है एक ज़ईफ़ा आ रही है जिसका नाम था तौआ. दरवाजे को खोलती है, गली में देखती है. वो दर हकीकत अपने बेटे के इंतज़ार में थी कि हमारा बेटा कहाँ है. लेकिन 2 बार 3 बार उसने जब देखा कि एक अजनबी शख्स बैठा है यहाँ दरवाजे के उधर, तो थोड़ी देर के बाद फिर मुस्लिम बिन अकील ने कहा कि मुझे प्यास लगी है, ज़रा पानी दे दो. उस ज़ईफ़ा ने ला के पानी का एक कासा दिया और मुस्लिम बिन अकील ने पानी पिया. बाहर अंदर चली जाती है, दोबारा आती है, देखती है वो शख्स बैठा है. अब वो एक जुमला कहती है, इज़हब इला अहलिक इन्न मजलिसका मजलिस रईब. ऐ शख्स तुम चले जाओ यहाँ से, हम इजाज़त नहीं देते हैं तुम्हें, इसलिए कि एक अजनबी शख्स का मेरे दरवाजे पर बैठना ये मुनासिब नहीं है इस वक्त पे. मुस्लिम बिन अकील क्या जवाब देते? 3 बार उसने ये जुमला दोहराया है. तब मुस्लिम ने कहा है सुबहान अल्लाह. वो औरत कहती है मुस्लिम से, ला उहिल्लु लकल जुलूस अला बाबी. अब हम कहते हैं कि तुम्हारे लिए जायज़ नहीं है यहाँ बैठना, हम इस घर के मालिक आए हैं. उस वक्त जनाब मुस्लिम कहते हैं कौम ने मेरे साथ दगा किया है, ये झूठ बोले हैं, इन्होंने मुझे तन्हा छोड़ दिया है. अज़दारान हुसैन, जब उसने मुस्लिम बिन अकील का नाम सुना, बहरहाल इसके दिल में जो है अहले बैत से शफ़क़त व मोहब्बत थी, ख़ानदान रसूल से. अपने घर में जो है वो पनाह देती है. मुस्लिम बिन अकील को एक कमरे में रखा. आखिर में वो बेटा भी आया और बेटा कहता है कि इब्ने ज़ियाद ने एक इनाम रखा है मुस्लिम की तलाशी के लिए, जो भी ढूंढ के ले आया उसका पता और सुराग, और हम उसी में निकले थे लेकिन मुझे कोई पता नहीं मिला. लेकिन उसने जब देखा कि माँ बार बार जो है कहीं पानी लेके कहीं खाना लेके एक रूम में जा रही है जो ज़्यादा इस्तेमाल नहीं होता था, तो उसे बड़ा तशवीश हुई और पूछता है. माँ ने कहा एतमाद में लेने के बाद कि ये मुस्लिम बिन अकील को हमने पनाह दी है. वो खबीस जो है अलसबा फजर के वक्त जाके इब्ने ज़ियाद को ख़बर करता है अपने इनाम को हासिल करने के लिए. और इब्ने ज़ियाद ने 100 अफराद फ़ौजियों का लश्कर भेजा है. किसके लिए? एक सिपाही के लिए. तंग गलियां थी, घोड़े के चलने की आवाज़ इतनी बड़ी तादाद में जब आएंगे तो वो घर तक बहुत पहले से आ जाती है. मुस्लिम बिन अकील समझ गए, कहते हैं उस ज़ईफ़ा से, हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि तुम्हारे घर में कोई नुकसान हो. ये शराफत देखे बनु हाशिम की कि हम नहीं चाहते हैं कि मेरी वजह से तेरे घर में कोई नुकसान हो, लिहाजा हम इनसे बाहर ही मिलेंगे. बाहर निकलते आते हैं और जब ये लश्कर करीब आता है, ये कि बाद दीगर सामने आते हैं, ये हमला करते रहते हैं. बहुत ही शुजा और बहादुर इंसान थे. आखिर से अफसर ने जो है री एनफोर्समेंट के तौर पे 100 और सिपाही मांगे. 200 آتے ہیں لیکن پھر بھی یہ لوگ جناب مسلم کو اسیر نہیں کر سکے۔ آخر میں جب اس نے دوبارہ مدد مانگی ہے ابن زیاد سے، اس وقت ابن زیاد نے کہا ہے کہ ہم نے صرف ایک شخص کی گرفتاری کے لیے بھیجا ہے۔ اس وقت اس نے پیغام رساں سے کہا ہے ابن زیاد سے کہہ دو یہ کوئی بقال نہیں ہے، یہ بنو ہاشم کا شیر ہے۔ آخر میں ایک گلی میں ایک گڈھا کھود کر اس کو کور کرنے کے بعد اس طرح سے جناب مسلم کو انہوں نے محاصرہ کیا ہے کہ وہ آگے جاتے جاتے اس میں گر جاتے ہیں اور چاروں طرف سے حملہ ہوتا ہے، گرفتار کر لیے جاتے ہیں۔ اور ابن زیاد کے دربار میں جب پیش کیے گئے، سپاہی کیسا یہی حکم دیتا ہے مسلم بن عقیل کو، سلم علی الامیر، اس وقت یہ کہ امیر پر تم سلام کرو۔ مسلم بن عقیل کہتے ہیں امیری حسین، میرے امیر صرف حسین ہے، یہ ابن زیاد نہیں ہے۔ اس کے بعد ابن زیاد نے جو ہے اپنا حکم سنایا کہ ہم تمہیں قتل کی سزا دیں گے۔ اس وقت مسلم بن عقیل نے کہا کہ ہم وصیت کرنا چاہتے ہیں۔ عمر ابن سعد پر نظر جاتی ہے، کہتے ہیں تم قریشی ہو، آؤ قریب۔ اسی قریشیت کی بنیاد پر ہم تمہیں وصیت کرنا چاہتے ہیں۔ 700 درہم ہم مقروض ہو چکے ہیں، میری سواری اور زرہ اور تلوار کو بیچ کے میرے قرض کو ادا کرنا، اور اس کے بعد یہ کہ میری لاش کو بھی یہ لوگ اسی طرح سے چھوڑ دیں گے، تم مجھے دفن بھی کر دینا۔ لیکن سب سے اہم وصیت جو کرتے ہیں مسلم بن عقیل کہ میں اپنے امیر اور مولا کو لکھا ہے کہ آپ جلد سے جلد کوفہ آئے، تمہیں خط بھیج دینا میری طرف سے کہ کوفی جو ہیں یہ وفادار نہیں ہے۔ عزاداران حسین مسلم بن عقیل کو دارالامارہ کے چھت پر لے جاتے ہیں۔ مسلم نے کہا کہ مجھے 2 رکعت نماز کی مہلت چاہیے، نماز کو ادا کرتے ہیں۔ یاد رہے کہ مسلم کے دونوں بچے بھی شہادت سے پہلے 2 رکعت نماز ادا کرتے ہیں۔ یہ باپ کی سیرت تھی جو مسلم بن عقیل نے بھی 2 رکعت نماز پڑھی۔ اس کے بعد کہا مجھے شدت سے پیاس لگی ہے، پانی کا ایک کوزہ آتا ہے، لیکن تلوار کا وار جو ہے دانتیں اور ہونٹ پر اس طرح سے تھا کہ جیسے ہی دہن پر رکھا پورا خون جو ہے اس میں آ جاتا ہے۔ دوبارہ کوزہ دوسرا لایا گیا، 3 بار نئے کوزے لائے گئے، لیکن تینوں بار اتنا خون وہاں ہوا کہ مسلم جو ہے پانی پی نہ سکے۔ بس اتنا کہیں گے مسلم تم حسین کے پہلے شہید ہو، تیرے مولا جو ہے پیاسا شہید ہونے والا ہے، آپ کو بھی پانی نصیب نہ ہوا۔ لیکن فرق یہی ہے کہ آپ نے پانی مانگا اور پانی لایا گیا، لیکن ہائے حسین العطش العطش کرتے رہے اور گلو پر خنجر چل جاتا ہے۔ عزاداران حسین جلاد آگے بڑھتا ہے، جناب مسلم کے سر کو تن سے جدا کرتا ہے اور جناب مسلم کے دھڑ کو دارالامارہ کی چھت سے زمین پر پھینک دیا جاتا ہے۔ پھر ہانی اور مسلم کے لاشے کو پیر میں رسن باندھ کر گھوڑے کی گردن میں باندھا گیا اور گلیوں میں گھمایا گیا۔ مسلم سے کہیں گے مسلم آپ کی لاش کی بے حرمتی کوفہ میں ہوئی ہے، لیکن حسین کا لاشا کربلا میں اس طرح سے پامال ہوا کہ سینے کی ہڈیاں پشت کے ہڈیوں سے جا کے مل جاتی ہیں۔ بس ایک جملہ ہم کہنا چاہیں گے، اے مسلم ابن عقیل، یہ پانی نہ پینا اور لاش کی بے حرمتی، اس میں تو آپ حسین کے ساتھ شریک ہیں، لیکن ایک منظر کربلا میں ہے جو آپ نے نہیں دیکھا ہے کہ جب گھوڑا خیمے کو پا کے قریب آتا ہے، سکینہ نکلتی ہے، 4 سال کی بچی کے دل میں جو تمنا تھی صرف ایک تھی، گھوڑے سے پوچھتی ہے اے اسم با وفا یہ بتاؤ میرے بابا کو پانی نصیب ہوا؟
ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. خداوند اس قریب بات قبول فرما، ہمارے گناہوں کو بخش دے، ہماری توفیقات میں اضافہ فرما، ابام کے ظہور میں تعجیل فرما. ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم. ماتم حسین.